Hi everyone, it's Top 5 Wednesday. This is a Goodreads group created by Ginger Reads Laney and is currently hosted by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. And it is a group you can find on Goodreads. And this week's topic is authors you want to read more from. First author I would like to read more from is Marissa Meyer. I've read the Lunar Chronicles and fell in love with them. I just read Theris, which is the prequel, and I would like to get Stars Above, but I haven't read Heartless yet. Unfortunately, I've heard a few negative things about Heartless and a few positive things, but I definitely do want to read it. But at least with the Lunar Chronicles, I loved her writing style. And I hope that I'm eager to read more from her, including Heartless. Hopefully she'll write more soon. The second author I would like to read more from is Stephen King. Now, I've read a handful of his books. I read Salem's Lot, Carrie. I read the first 3 books in the Dark Tower series. It is my favorite horror novel. Of course, it's one of the only ones I've read. Let's see. I think that's all of Stephen King I've read. Oh, and I've read actually this isn't a Stephen King, but I've read the book that is connected to his miniseries Rose Red. I read that one, so I guess that doesn't really count because it's not written by him. And I also love his miniseries, like It, Rose Red. There's another one that I have that I watched. The one with the people on the island during the storm. They're trapped in their hometown during the storm, and this guy comes to take one of their children. Storm of the Century. I think that's what it's called. I saw the miniseries for that one. I love the miniseries. And I just want to read more of his books. In fact, I want to check out The Dark Half because I love this DID, multiple personality storylines. And I want to read Cujo, which, that might give me nightmares about my dogs. But basically, I definitely want to read more of him, though. And I definitely want to get more into horror in general. And then this next author is an author that my sister kind of got me into. She was looking for, books to get me because she knows I love reading, and I will never say no to a book as a gift. And she was asking me and she asked me if I would like this particular author, and I looked at her books. I looked at the description of her books, and she writes a lot. She mostly writes short stories, some weird, magical realism, fantastical type stories. And I have my sister ended up getting me 2 of her books. Anyway, she got me 2 of them. Stranger Things Happen. That's one of them. Stranger Things Happen. And I can't remember what the other one was called. And I read 2 of the stories. The Summer People, I think it was one of them was called. The first one was called that I read, and then there was another one that was. I was a little confused by the second one. It was like this girl was dating a vampire, but I don't think this woman is having an on and off relationship with a vampire. Or I don't think he was actually a vampire. I think he was like a movie star that he was known as playing a vampire. So I was a little confused there, but I definitely want to read more of her stories. And I would like to and then I would like to buy some of her other books. So that is Kelly Link. And then number 4 is F. Scott Fitzgerald. I fell in love with The Great Gatsby. It is one of my favorite classic stories. I love the 1920s. And I know he's written plenty of other books, and I definitely want to read them because I loved his writing style, and like I said, I love the setting he writes in. And Great Gatsby was awesome, it was an awesome story. It kind of ended very sad, but very tragically, but it was still a great book. It was a quick read, too. So, The Great Gatsby is another one I would like to read. I meant F. Scott Fitzgerald is another author I would like to read more from. And then the last one, number 5, is George R.R. Martin, who everyone knows is the author of the Song of Ice and Fire series, or also known as the Game of Thrones, which is what the TV show is called. But I definitely want to read. He's another author that I like his writing style, and I love Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire, I should say. I love that series. It's awesome. And I want to, I know that he's written other books before that. So I definitely want to explore his writing more. And basically, all these authors, I would love to explore their works more. And I actually want to mention one that is an honorary person on the list, or what's an honorable mention, not an honorary, an honorable mention. So a 6th person I would love to read more from is Kate Morton. I love her. She is an author who writes historical fiction with a little bit, it goes back and forth between the present or the modern times and then, to another time. She writes a lot of mysteries, and they have a little bit of romance, and I love her writing style. I fell in love with her writing style, and her writing is very it's as beautiful as Jane Austen, but it's easier to read her books. It's less dry and more easier for modern audiences to get into, I feel like, or at least that's how I feel. And I just love her work. I just finished, last year, I finished her most recent book. I wish I could remember what it's called. Unfortunately, I don't have it anymore. When we were moving, my mom wanted me to go through my books since I buy so many books. We had to get rid of some of, when we were going through a transition period where we were moving, and she wanted me to get rid of some of my books, and it's very hard to make that kind of decision. But I did, and I gave all my Kate Morton books to one of my best friends, Larissa. I feel like she would appreciate, I felt like she would be a good person to pass those books on to. And then the last book of Kate Morton's that I got later, after I gave them to Larissa, gave the other four or 5 books to Larissa. And I ended up, because I didn't know when I would see Larissa again, so I ended up just and I think that was around the time my parents were just gonna send me to stay with my grandma until the move was made officially, until we were officially leaving our old house. So I had to get rid of it, and I had already finished the book, so this was a book I allowed my mom to give away for people who, don't have, that can't buy books. Can't just buy any book. So it was for a good it would go to a good home, I believe. Or maybe an used bookstore. I definitely would love to rebuy her books. But I don't know. Like I said, there are so many books out there, so many new books out there that I want to read. So I'll have to get through all those. So I don't know if I'll ever rebuy those or rebuy the Lunar Chronicles. And the Lunar Chronicles I also gave to Larissa too. Because like I said, I feel like that would be a good home for them with my friend. But I want to rebuy both series, Kay Morton's books are not series. They're like she writes standalones. It's one of the rare times because I don't buy a lot of standalones, but it was one of the rare occasions where where I was fine with it being a standalone. But unfortunately, Kay Morton doesn't have a book out right now, or she's not working on anything that I know of. I occasionally check her website online. So hopefully, she will have a book coming out again soon. And I look forward to that, to buying that and reading that. Okay, so those are my top five authors that I would love to read more from. And if I can figure it out, I will post the link to the Goodreads group if you want to participate in it. All right. Thank you and good night.